Welcome to another episode of the Can Be podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Castle. I am fired up, totally excited, and inspired by conversations with people just like you about living life by design. Knowing that we can be anything and anybody we choose to be. To me, it's just so simple. It's a decision that we make. And in making that decision, we change our thoughts. And when we change our thoughts and we change our focus, life changes for us. So it's that simple in creating the life you want to live. With me today, I have my husband. He is this was a gift from him to me for Valentine's Day to be on the podcast with me. And in this short little bit of time, we could definitely cover so many conversations about kids and cars and real estate and people, connection, relationships, community. But we have just a couple of, in this short period of time, conversation that we're going to cover. Just really, how do you blend a family? How do you raise children co-parenting with other parents, and just rules of the marriage, as well as how do you, when you're in a sales role and your spouse isn't, how do you go out and about and do events and all of the activities that you need to do in the sales role, in the community, when your spouse or partner is an introvert, but you're an extrovert in that sales role. So we'll cover a couple of those topics, and maybe if I'm lucky, be able to have him on the show to cover some of those other conversations as well. Thank you so much for joining me today in the Can Be podcast. All right, so Jeff, this is so outside your comfort zone, and I thank you so very much for doing this today. Valentine's Day. Tuesday. So one thing I know that it's a big deal for you is to shower all your girls with lots of love in the form of flowers and stuffed animals
and chocolate-covered strawberries.
Chocolate-covered strawberries. That comes from me, FYI. But I forgot to order some this year, so they'll be coming from your dad.
Yeah. They're at Albertsons.
I was hoping Albertsons.
Yeah, I let him know today that I forgot to order some. So, and all the goodies. So we going shopping later? Are you going to let me go with you this year?
I don't. Yeah, if you want to carry some stuff, that would be great.
If I get to carry some stuff?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'll carry some stuff for you with you.
Not balloons. The weatherman said that just will not work. The wind's going to be blowing.
Oh.
Yeah, the weatherman did say that this is not a day to be buying balloons for Valentine's.
He looks like a balloon by Valentine's.
I was like, who buys balloons for Valentine's?
Sounds well, weatherman.
Hey, have
My
you not
husband brought me
seen some
balloons.
of the big balloon
Not
sculptures that they have?
Steve's probably a flower guy, but
Yeah.
this younger guy, he's a balloon guy.
All right. So I am. If I'm going shopping with you, do I get to pick out my own Valentine's?
You always do.
No, I don't. Sometimes you
Yeah,
surprise me.
whatever.
All right. Sometimes I do pick out my own Valentine's.
You brought the most honest guy on your podcast.
All right. So today we have my husband, Jeff Castle, and we have Alex Castle Lyons, our youngest daughter.
That's me.
Because she wanted to pop in. She wanted to make sure we kept it real.
Dad's doing that.
Yeah, Dad is doing that. All right. So, Alex, you had a really good question. So, Jeff, you and I have been married for going on 26 years, and we have 4 children that are all grown. 2 yours-ish.
Ish.
Yeah. Does that ever happen? 2 of yours, ours, but yours first, and then mine, ours, but mine first.
And then me, theirs.
And then Alex. Yeah, ours.
Yep. His, hers, ours.
And you're the ours.
Yep.
But Alex had a really so we've had a blended family, And that's been interesting,
Yeah.
but easy. I mean, people ask all the time, how did that work? And
I don't feel like
the
there's been
whole-
any complications.
the blended family thing,
No.
no, we didn't have any complications with that because I think that there was just a lot of respect for the parents who co-raised children with us.
Yeah, and then I completed everything. You're welcome.
Oh, good gosh. Oh, but I mean, even to the point where a lot of people were like, "What? Y'all have birthday parties with your kids together? That is so weird." But it never felt weird.
Well, no, if you have a kid with someone, you know them pretty well, and you're attached forever, and you can be brutal and mean and ugly, or you can get along. Why? I don't understand. I don't understand the hatred that people carry after the divorce, especially if they have kids. But that's a whole nother deal.
That's another episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you hate someone that you used to love so dearly? Yeah.
I mean, there's like some things I can understand.
Really?
What's an
Oh,
emotion? I mean,
yeah. If
and-
you have like an asshole of a partner or something and you only stayed with them because like that's what you're supposed to do, I can see that. But that's more resentment, I feel like, than
Maybe so. I've just not had that emotion.
But some people are that way. Love makes you crazy, hate makes you crazy.
Mhm.
It's the same trigger, So, oh,
Mm,
but fortunately, we didn't have that to deal with.
we did not have that to deal with. Neither way on either sides. So the blended family thing was really easy for us. And I know that's not easy for everybody. So I'm not here to judge or even tell you how, really, because I don't know how to tell you to blend a family and make it work other than
You
love and
speak on
respect
person.
and understanding and compromise and
Mhm.
and then just know that it's better for the kids
Yeah.
if everybody gets along. I mean, that's what it at the end of the day, I mean,
don't have to be
that's
friends
what we
with someone
did
to
it
get
for is for
along.
the kids. Yeah. Do what?
So you don't want to be friends with someone to like get along.
No, you don't have to be friends with somebody to get along. You can show kindness without.
And even if you can't do joint birthday parties, you can still communicate.
Well, and I think that was the big thing for us. A kid, the birthday is such a big deal, and to have multiple parties gets, I mean, then the kids always feel like they have to choose, like, who are they really going to celebrate their birthday? I don't know. It just, I'm just glad it all worked out like it did
I
for
don't
us.
know. I'm a little bit self-centered, so I'd be like, heck yeah, 3 birthday parties, more gifts, more cake. But not
And anymore, you need a whole bunch of parents just to run a kid around.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
Some
Gosh.
step-parents to get a ride.
That was
Yeah.
that was one of the pluses of co-raising with multiple sets of families is we could, hey, we got ball game over here, ball game over here, dance over here. Who can do what?
Mhm.
It's like, I mean, I guess you got Uber now. We didn't have Uber back then.
You can't Uber unless you're like. have
Oh, you
someone
can't
with
Uber your
you.
kids.
Yeah,
That's
you're
right.
not gonna Uber
No.
to prom.
All right. But another question that Alex brought up that was, I think, a good question. Typically, you don't have two introvert. Well, sometimes I'm an extrovert. You're an introvert. I'm in a sales role, and so there's a lot of events and activities. And so people, that know that you prefer. Well, I don't know. So you asked the question. You're the one that asked me.
Well, you go do stuff all the time. I feel like because your role, you feel like you have to go to these events because that's your job, like marketing and connections, that's your job. Dad gets to pick and choose when he wants to go to because he doesn't have to be there. So he only has to go to the events that he actually wants to go to.
And in a marriage, so your
How does
question
that
is,
work?
how does that work in a marriage when one person chooses to stay home, or are you asking how he
Like, does
feels
Dad
about
ever
staying
feel
home?
like you're gone too often, or does he like doing? Oh, I already know that answer because I'm with Dad all the time, but not everyone else does. Dad, you like being alone.
I have no problem being alone. I have no problem being in a crowd. There's always someone in the crowd I enjoy visiting with, and I mean, it's I can get on stage and play the game if I need to, and I have done that before, but prefer not to.
But what would you tell, like, if you, me and Cooper, I'll take that for example, like an example. I am getting to a point where I need to like go to chamber events or just like events with other people to kind of network and stuff like that. Cooper, that's not really his thing, but we have kids that are still younger. So how do you balance? I don't know.
Well, just step back and say, hey, that's my woman, and watch her fly.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
And
admire it. Don't be jealous of it. No, I mean, jealousy is the worst thing people can ever get into. And I mean, fortunately or unfortunately, I just can't feel it. But
yeah.
There's a world out there, and there's you trust your partner to step out in it and do what they're going to do,
but that's to your point, to Dad's point, that is, I mean, I've said this before. Jeff's been the wind beneath my wings for many, many years because he's believed in me and
allowed you to
and
soar.
it's his belief in me when I didn't even believe in myself that has allowed me to soar to heights that I would not have ever imagined because I didn't have the confidence to do it. But he's always believed in me and backed me, even whenever I have failed. I still never felt like I had to come home and go, oh my gosh, I am so sorry I failed you, or I did this wrong and now it's going to cost us or the family or whatever, because he's never judged me for any of my, I don't even want to say failures, but they didn't work out quite as well as I had expected them to.
Well, in your own head then, because that's one thing is Cooper is always a lot like Dad in the sense of like go do it. Like I've got the kids, I've got whatever. But then I feel guilty myself because I'm like, dang, I'm going all this stuff. That's not really his thing. I'm not at the house ever. Like, how do you get out of your own head and realize that when he's saying that he wants you to go, he's being genuine and sincere with that and not just like whatever.
I still feel guilty about that sometimes.
Think anything except time can fix that.
Yeah.
I mean, but until you really believe it, you experience it enough that you really believe it. But
no, I think Al, I still struggle with that because there's more opportunities to go be and do to promote yourself and your business, right? I mean, like there's endless opportunities, and you go to this one event and someone's talking about this next event and this next event and this next event. So, and I've struggled with that. I mean, we've talked about that, how much I've missed of your life and of your sister's life because I would feel like I needed to be at these events. And even if you just say, hey, I'm going to go for a little bit and then I'm going to come back home, a lot of times you get tied up and you're there longer than what you expected to be.
Yeah.
Well, there was more of that. I mean, you really were when you were new in the business. It was a requirement that you get out there and you had to volunteer and do and get make a name for yourself. And
that's what I love about social media.
That's what I was going to say. Social media has changed that a lot. I mean, we've been married for 26 years, and social media is really. I mean, I opened my only Facebook account 10 years ago. So 16 years of being out in the community.
Here in 1994, the national news on the morning show are sitting around talking to each other. Bryant Gumbel or one of those guys and Katie Couric, like, so what is the World Wide Web?
Yeah.
But this is in 1994. I mean,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-boggling.
So you can be present in the community without being at every event like you used to have to be. So I think you pick and choose what you're truly most passionate about, and you do that. Like I only serve on one board now, and that's Child and Family Guidance Center, because if you go volunteer for all of these different boards, you have board meetings, and then you have board events, and then you have fundraisers that require that you get sponsorships or whatever. And you just can't be all things to all people and still and not feel guilty about not being home and present. But it's a hard to find, but it really takes a patient, understanding, kind, considerate spouse that does not get jealous when you're out and about doing those things.
think I just need to get out of my own head.
Yeah, just get out of your own head. That's a really good point. But then Alex and I were talking like there's like a few rules that you and I have never said these are our marriage rules, except for one. There was only one rule. And
Don't call each other names.
Don't
don't
tell
know.
me you're leaving unless you're on your way.
Yes.
Oh
And
yeah, I
no-
said that in the car. I was like, hey,
Yeah.
y'all's one rule is
The
don't ever
one
say you're
rule, and
leaving unless you're leaving.
and there's a story behind that because I used to be bad. I mean, like that was always my ammo when I was fighting
Mhm.
pre-Jeff, and in previous marriages, I just threatened to leave. Well, I said that one time to Jeff very early in our relationship, and he made it real clear that was don't ever say I'm leaving unless I'm really leaving, and if I leave, I'm not coming back.
Mhm.
And so I've never, ever, ever used that in any kind of conversation that we've ever had. And I also was a yeller, and I used to raise my voice. That's how, I would allow my emotions to escalate to the point of raising my voice. But I don't recall us, but maybe twice in 26 years ever raising our voices
There's just no reason
at each other.
to.
If you're adults having a conversation, I don't understand why you can't talk. Like good yelling does.
Yeah. So, that's not something, we just don't ever yell at each other. It
And
just
you
doesn't
don't ever
happen.
call each other names.
We never,
no
ever
names.
call each
Yeah, I
other
don't get
names.
that at all.
Never
That's
call
like
each other names.
My generation has really made that normal, which they've my generation has reclaimed a lot of names like bitch. That's something that people use like as a positive thing now when it used to be really like derogatory. But I can see like y'all not understanding.
Yeah, well,
That-
just
And I get there's no need to call each other names. When
There's
you're,
just-
fighting when it's a name
If
out
you
of anger.
call someone's name in the middle of hyped emotions,
Mhm.
then it's different than going, "Hey, bitch," it's not the
Well, yeah.
same. I mean,
But like if dad ever is like, "What's up, bitch?" I'm gonna be like, "What is wrong with you?"
yeah. Anyway,
One day you should just start incorporating.
Yeah.
yeah, that would be funny.
I use bastard.
You
that
do
a
use
lot.
bastard as
A
a term
lot.
of endearment. But no,
No, he doesn't.
no, it's not a term of endearment. It is emotionally used whenever a screw won't break loose or something.
Or when someone cuts him off.
Oh, well, okay. When someone cuts him off on the road. Oh, good gosh. Yeah. But another thing, we don't go to bed mad. That might mean that it's a late night while I'm getting all my words out because I have to have the last word. Fortunately, you allow me to have
because
Fortunately, you allow me to have the last
Well,
word.
but guys don't have the words, so that's not that hard. Okay, go ahead, let them out because I got none. I'm just-
I don't have any words to say,
yeah,
so
I'd
keep
be
on
happy
talking.
yours.
let me piggyback off yours. Actually, I completely agree with you, and I'll work on that right now.
Yeah, having the last word. No, but there have been some 2:00 in the morning words that I'm still got to get out before we go to bed. But we don't
How
go to
do
bed
you not
mad.
just say, "Be quiet, shush"?
Because the words aren't out and they'll just keep on like popcorn, man. The
Like
little kernels are
popcorn.
in there. Okay.
There's still a fire in
They
there.
are. Those
might
words
be-
are like popcorn in my
Might be
head.
2 hours in bed before they start.
That has happened too, where I'd be laying in bed
and
and I'm about to go to sleep, and then the words do pop back, and I'm still mad about. Don't go to sleep yet. I'm not done. For real.
And I will get up and make a cup of coffee.
And he will get up and make a
Dump
cup
him-
of coffee
dump him
sometimes. It's like,
keep on going.
it's gonna be a long night. Keep on getting your words out. What else are you mad about? It's true though. And then we don't ever, well, because we don't go to bed mad at each other, it's not like, well, I'm gonna go sleep on the couch. I have gotten up because I'm mad and I don't want to talk about it, but I still have words, and have gone to the couch and then
She's like, all right, it's 4 a.m. I should wait till tomorrow.
yeah, I'll go to the couch and he'll go, okay, what's bothering you? Because he knows, okay,
Mhm.
she's got words. They got to come out. Anyway, but and then just a lot of compromise. I mean, there's I
Dad's on this podcast right now. That's a big.
that's a big
compromise.
compromise that you're even here because this is not your thing. So thank you.
Although, watch out, me and Dad, podcast. Promo.
If you get him to do a podcast with you all the time and
I'll buy you Pepsi for the rest of your life.
what? You're bribing him with Pepsi now? Oh my gosh. She's over here bribing him with coffee and Pepsi and
Talk shit podcast.
oh yeah, I couldn't be on y'all's show. Y'all would be funny though. Anyway, compromise. Let's compromise. What do you compromise for me?
Everything. What are you talking about?
No, I want to know what you think you compromise on.
I don't feel like I compromise anything. I live the life that I want to live, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And I live for the moments. I don't really, I don't like plans. I don't make plans. You're perpetually planning stuff, So
That's your
He
compromise.
doesn't compromise. He goes with the flow.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it
because I
is.
just, I'm perfectly cool being where I'm at. If people want to talk to me, and they'll find me, and the kids come by, the grandkids come by, and we have our own little world over at my shop.
You are a perfect example of just living in the moment for the moment. I'll ask him every morning, what are you doing today? I don't know. Whatever comes what do you say? It's not whatever comes my way. Whoever calls me and needs me for something, basically.
Whatever I want.
Whatever I want to do. That's what I'm going to do
I
today.
know. I love when people. What does your dad do?
Whatever he wants to do.
do.
Whatever he wants to do every day.
It's like a stray cat. He just does what he wants.
Stray cat. She called you a stray cat.
Hey, cats do their own thing.
Yeah.
And you're not going to make them do anything they don't want to.
No.
And they collect weird shit.
And there's one other thing I remember. Speaking
They'll
of
let you go
rules,
with them if they want.
rules of a
Rules of what?
rules of a marriage, not rules of a marriage, but things that make a marriage work. I
Not
remember
even a marriage,
also
partnership.
partnership work.
Getting married is old.
Okay. Partnership. I remember a long time ago, very early in our marriage, someone saying our partnership, someone saying, if it bothers you, then it's not the other person's problem, it's yours. And what they were referring to at that particular time was toothpaste, a roll of toothpaste. Like if, your partner squeezes in the middle, but you like it perfectly squeezed and rolled up, so it's all nice and neat. You like, the cap clean and put on and no gunk around the tube, which is me. Then, and it bothers you that either get your own tube or just fix it every time. But that doesn't make your way right and their way wrong. And if it bothers you, then that's your problem, not theirs. I think about that a lot because, like I keep making tea that has coffee in it.
Even though Dad makes his coffee next door so that your tea doesn't taste like coffee.
Yeah, because the Keurig oftentimes has a coffee pod in it and I forget to check it. Is it Jeff's fault he leaves the coffee pod? No, it's my fault because I didn't check it. It's not his problem, it's mine. But I could see where a lot of people are like, I can't believe he can't, blah, 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 blah. And there's,
I'm still learning to.
That's what Ashley said. After about the second or third time, that's on you.
Yeah.
That's pretty much her.
I don't ever blame anybody for it because
No.
I'm the one that didn't check the coffee pod to see if it's in there. It happens 50% of the time. So you would think that it would be 0% of the time because I would check it every time, but I don't. Anyway. All right. Well, thank you for stepping outside of your comfort zone and sharing yourself with us today.
Not a problem.
Thank you, Alex. I know you thoroughly enjoyed it.
Not a problem.
Do you want to record another episode with me, Alex?
Sure.
Okay.
We actually are supposed to do that.
Yeah, we are supposed to do that. Maybe we'll do that
But I
next.
can't today because I have to go do my tattoo. So I can
Oh.
look cooler.
Oh, more tattoos.
All my tattoos are covered because
Well, I don't care if you cover your tattoos or not. You be you.
No, I'm saying all my tattoos are covered, so I need my hands so that people just automatically know I'm cool when they look at me. I've got my 70s shag going on. I'll have my fingers tatted. I need a brand new bitch today.
She's your daughter.
Yep.
I do what I want.
All right. Well, we are wrapping up another episode of the Can Be podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Castle. Thank you so much for listening. If you find this entertaining, you can share it with others. Tips for a happy marriage. 26 years and going strong? Going. Okay. Strong.
It better be going strong as hell.
Okay. Going strong. Please like, follow, and share. And stay tuned for the next episode of the Can Be podcast.